of Fame another one?
Hey man, it's the bench starters. I'm James. That's Noel, and today we got another special guest today. His name is Terrell Eskridge. Right now you're coaching in like a town outside of Wichita, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So quick brief story. So I'm on Twitter, and I remember seeing Coach T, and he's putting up pictures of him playing professional and professionally, and then I'm seeing him, like talking about his team and stuff like that, and how he supports kids. And the biggest thing I think on our first conversations was you had said someone did not like how you helped kids out, even though it had nothing to do with your kids that you coach or anything, but you're just trying to help a kid get an opportunity. And I said, and I reached out to him. I think this was one of our first conversations. I reached out to him. I was like, man, keep doing what you're doing, because, at the same time, like, not everybody has a coach, or not everybody has a person who really cares enough for them to get that opportunity. So, hey, I appreciate you for coming on the show, man. I really do, man.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all for having me.
No problem.
So, hey, the first question that we always kind of started off, how did you fall in love with the game of basketball? Like when was the first time you was like, man, I love basketball, man. Like this is my thing. This is my drug. Like I'm addicted to it.
Man, it was crazy. I didn't even know what it was. My mama got us a basketball goal when I was like 5 for Christmas. I got 2 big brothers and a little brother and a little sister. So and we grew up like most people. We grew up without a lot of money. So you see this big old box come from the back. You're like, what's that? I didn't even know what it was, but I think the next day my uncle and all my brothers they put it together. And from that day on, it was like basketball every day. Like I didn't even know what I was doing. We just out there just throwing the ball at the rim. You ain't got no form. I'm shooting with 2 hands. I mean, from 5 years old, the next day after Christmas, I was like, I want to play basketball. That's all we did every day. We played other sports, but it was just like it always came back to the basketball. Like that's the first time I saw it, and that's when I started loving it right there. December 26, 27, or after Christmas. That's when it was it for me right there.
That's dope. I mean, I remember I didn't really get I had older cousins, so my grandparents had already had a basketball goal. So I lived with my grandma and my grandpa, and I remember just always being outside. I remember my first dunk was on that goal. So those little childhood goals for sure is just brings back memory. Now I want you to tell the viewers, for a player to be that next level type of guy, or even playing college and stuff like that, I think people don't realize how much the grind is of basketball. Can you expand on like when you really started like understanding the true grind about basketball? For me, it was after I got hurt my freshman year of college. After that, I mean, I still worked out, but I didn't really have that true like grind hours out the day of basketball.
My shit came. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if I can cuss.
Oh no, you good, man. Just be you, dog.
Mine came after in high school. I really didn't work out because it's like I play, I start, I do all right, and I really wasn't getting busted up like that. My true workout grind came from after my first year of junior college, and I was getting murdered. I'm like, man, these dudes good. They bigger, they stronger. They fast. This junior college, like, if I want to go to a 4-year, if I really want to like get paid for this, I gotta start working out. So me and my homeboy used to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and just go work out in the morning, work out after practice. That's when it really started for me. But it really got ramped up after my junior year of college. I'm like, man, if I want to do this, I gotta go. I already think I'm not that good. So I'm like, if I really want to do this, I really gotta like go even harder. So like I gave up parties, I gave up alcohol, I gave up everything. I just lived in the gym. Like my college coach, I had a key because I had a work study job. So I had a key to the gym. So anytime I got bored, anything, I just go in there and shoot 1,000 shots, 2,000 shots on the shooting machine. I'm just in there all the time. And people, my teammates thought I was crazy. Like, why you always in here? Like, man, I want to get paid to play basketball. And I'm already behind because I started late working out. I just got off on my natural talent at first. So I felt like I was so far behind that I had to catch up. So I just spent all my free time in the gym, like just shooting, dribbling, just trying to catch up to my peers. And it's crazy that most of my teammates say I was the best player on the team. I'm like, how? Like I ain't even really do nothing. And most of the coaches I played against us after the game, they'll shake my hand and be like, man, you good. I'm like, wow, I play horrible. I always think so negatively about it. Like I had three turnovers. I missed 2 free. I always think about the bad stuff, but
Yeah.
Most of the people I played against or I played with, like you was good. I'm like, man, I just went into a crazy mode of just working out all day, every day, man. I really didn't care about nothing else. And that's how it happened for me. I think that's the only reason I got to play basketball overseas, because I just started taking it that serious. I wish I would have took it serious earlier, like in middle school or high school, but everything happens for a reason.
Okay. Can I ask you about like your junior college experience? A lot of times, kids coming up, they say, well, I want to go D1, or I want to go as high as possible. Um, Speak to how junior college actually helped you, or maybe even it hindered you as far as your journey with basketball.
My junior college experience was wild because it wasn't even supposed to happen. So I was all state and all conference in high school. After high school, I ain't get no offers. I ain't know you can go try out. I ain't know nothing. You watch ESPN. You don't just that's why I do this. What he was telling about at first about me helping kids that I don't coach. This is why I do it, because after I graduated, nobody helped me. My coach, nobody. So I'm like, I'm just stuck. I'm like, people ask me where I'm going next year. I'm like, man, I have no idea. So I end up not playing basketball my first year after I graduated high school. I end up just working. The first semester I worked, and the second semester I went to a JUCO in Texas to try to play for them. They ended up not offering me. Then I ended up going to another college, Henderson State, and their coach had called me that summer, told me to come try to do the little walk-on thing, and that shit, it wasn't for me. They wanted you to be Rudy, and I was like, I'm straight. I feel like I was better than some people that was on the team. So that summer after that, this is 2 years removed from high school. That summer, my little brother had ended up going to that junior college in Texas that I went to and tried to walk on.
Mm-hmm.
So he ended up quitting. But he was starting and everything. His freshman year, he ended up quitting. He was supposed to go to this D1. They ended up sending him to a JUCO in Arkansas, where we're from. So the coach told him to come up there and hoop with the team. So I just went up there with him. We from Little Rock. We know all the people that's up there hooping. My little brother's like the total opposite of me. Like I'm more of a passer, playmaker. He like an athlete. He like 6'5", dunking, all that stuff. So we up there doing we played 2-on-2 growing up all our life. So I'm in there throwing him oops. We in there playing our game. So the coach ended up saying, "Hey, you want to come here with your little brother?" I'm like, hell yeah, I want to hoop. That's how I end up going. My little brother ended up not even going there, and I end up going there, starting and everything. But I loved it. Like, it really opened my eyes to how good people are. Because my freshman year, I feel like I got busted up by everybody. Like everybody was like kicking my ass. It was just like, I was like, bro, I'm not as good as I thought I was. Like, and I played against a lot of D1 players. Like a lot of schools we played against had like Division I, Division II players, athletic. They probably just didn't have the grades. But I feel like I got busted up. But in my second year, I did a whole lot better. I still didn't do as good as I thought I could, but I played hard. But it really opened my eyes to how good all levels of basketball. I didn't even know nothing about a junior college. I was just like young and dumb, just thinking only schools you know is the ones you see on TV.
Yeah.
So going to JUCO really helped me. That's why I tell kids all the time. Like I coach at a prep school, and none of the kids on my team want to go to JUCO. And I explain, I'm like, man, you just don't know. It's gonna be fun. You're gonna learn, and you're gonna get better. Like you think it's nobody that can hoop there, but you're gonna see it. And most of the kids that I coached my first year in Georgia, they went JUCO and they loved it. See, I think I got some wild story. I told you.
Right. So, and then, like what we were talking about earlier, I always try to help kids, no matter the situation, explain how this game, how really a $40 basketball, like in all honesty, a $40 basketball has took you around the world, man.
Man, it's just a blessing. Cause I thought about that the other day. Like, what would I be doing if my mama never bought that basketball goal? Like, what would I be doing? Like, would have played football? I hate football. Like, I suck at football. But what else would I would have been doing? Like, I can't even answer that question because I truly don't know what else I would have did. Like,
Right.
basketball gave me most of my friends. Basketball took me out of my state for the first time in AAU. It took me to China, Belize, Morocco. It got me to Hong Kong, uh, Thailand. It took it just because of basketball. People be like, "Hey, you go all these places." I'm like, the only reason my passport has all these stamps is because of basketball. Like, I would have never been able to go to those places. I don't think if it wasn't for basketball. And most of those tickets was free. Like, they paid for me to go there. So I'm like, even if I would have made money and been successful, like, I would have flew myself to those places, or just because my mama put a basketball goal on layaway for us and got it, and I'm forever in debt to her for that.
That's dope. So, out of all those places that you named, like when you was playing professionally, what was your favorite place, and then name like a favorite memory. It doesn't have to probably be in that place, but like name your favorite memory as being a professional athlete. Because I think sometimes, as a bench starter, so like what I always tell people, the bench starter means for me at least, it means person who doesn't always get highlighted, even though they might have the same life, they might put the same type of time in, but not everyone's LeBron James, not everyone's Michael Jordan. I mean, you're Terrell Eskridge, Eskridge. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm James Thornton, and I still feel like I do important stuff. So the bench starter is more about the important stuff. So like, who don't get highlighted. So name like the place that you was like, man, I love it here, and then name like a memory that you really remember playing professionally. Like, dang, like I did it. Like, after all this grind, I really did it. Like, this is amazing.
My favorite place by far is Belize. I was there for 5 months, and it was the first place I went, and it was just, I love "I told you so" moments. So like, even my own mom said, like, at my last game my senior year, I told her what I want to do. She's like, "What you finna do now? You finna get a job?" I was like, "No, I want to play basketball overseas." She's like, "You need to do something else. You don't know." So it wasn't just her. Those people motivate me. So most of the people that said I couldn't, that I need to just go get a job, most of them people was congratulating me after I did it. So I went to Belize, and my first game there, this is not a good memory, but I caught a cramp in both legs because it's so hot there.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was laying on the floor, I was like, I'm really in another country getting paid to play basketball. Like, that's when it didn't hit me, because the plane ride there was crazy. Like, I got lost. They didn't send they supposed to send 2 tickets. They only sent 1, so I got stuck in the airport. So once I got there, I didn't even get to practice. Like, I think the next day we had a game. So I caught a cramp in both legs, and I'm just laying on the floor like, dang, I'm really from a good dude, fat dude from Little Rock, Arkansas. I'm all the way in Belize getting paid to play basketball. I think that's when it hit me. And when another dope moment is after a game, I played mostly the whole game. So after the game, I'm dehydrated. I need some water. They got straight alcohol in the cooler. Like, I was watching the Jordan doc last night, and they was drinking beers after the game. It's just how it is in Belize. After the game, they got some wings, they got some beer, they got some tequila. They throwing them mugs back. Like, it's a celebration. It was dope.
This is a party place.
Yes, it is. They
kick it.
they kick it, man. That's why I say when I'm done coaching, I'm moving to Belize because it's cheap. It's a third world country. It's cheap to live there.
It is.
And it's really hot. You only know winter clothes, and they kick it. They gonna get drunk. They gonna invite you. They just, and they speak English. So
they do.
If you go out the country and you go somewhere that people don't speak English, it's gonna be hard. But they speak English, and they got the most beautiful girls,
women.
ever.
Man,
the
food is great.
The food is way better. Like, I lost so much weight out there, but I was eating, like, they gave me like 4 or 5 places to eat there for free. And I'm eating a lot, but I lost like 50 pounds out there because the U.S. put stuff in our food that ain't healthy. Like, when I first got off the plane, they took me to Wingstop. Wings like this big. I'm like, what is this? They're like, it's a chicken wing. I'm like, man, this is small as hell. But you from the U.S., you used to them big fake things they give them. So I love Believe Me. I'm definitely. I say it all the time. Like I'm moving out there once I do the coaching. I'm retiring out there.
I had fun. I definitely had fun when I went. I didn't know they had a basketball league. I thought it was so third world that I thought they hadn't even got to the point of having like
Man,
professional
they
basketball.
love basketball out there. It's getting bigger. When I went out there, they didn't really have a lot of basketball courts. It was like a lot of outside, but now they got gyms. It's a lot better than it was when I went in like 2015, I think. But like now they getting more imports in there. It's a lot better than it was. I definitely got to go back and like watch a game or something. My coach was American too, which helped me out a lot.
Okay, yeah, that's hella dope. So,
What was you in when you was out there?
Will you say it again?
What city was you in when you was out there?
Trying to think. I got pictures and stuff, but I don't know exactly what city I was in. Because it was on a cruise that I went. But I just do know that I ran into the black folks. They treated me well. They like, look, you coming out here to kick it? Like, this is where we're gonna point you in the right direction. We're gonna point you towards the food. We're gonna like, so it was very hospitable. So I'm sure it was like an easy place to like feel some sort of at home, even if you're thousands of miles away. So that's really dope.
That's hella dope. That's hella dope. So from playing, how did you get involved with like the skill development stuff that you were doing in China from transitioning from being a player to a skill developer? Was you still playing like in China as well, or?
Nah, my second after I left Belize, I went to Morocco. My homeboy put me on the team in Morocco, and stuff went bad, so I really was done playing basketball. I really actually never wanted to leave the country again. So like some bad stuff happened in Morocco, so I was like, I'm never leaving the country again. But when the people from China emailed me, I'm like, man, I'm probably never gonna fly myself to China. I gotta take this free plane ticket. And so I went out there, but I told you I went crazy like after my junior year and just lived in the gym. So from like that point on, everybody saw me in the gym. So a lot of people was asking me to work them out. And I'm like, bro, I don't know what I'm doing. I just know what I need. I don't know what you need. But it was so many people asking me. I'm like, let me try it. Since so many people want to pay me to do it, I started a what's that called? Coach Up account. I started there. It started bringing me clients. I started getting back. My first person I worked out, I had to bring my home, but I was so nervous. I had to bring him like, bro, help me. And I had to give him half the money, but after that, I got the hang of it. But before I went to China, I was coaching in Georgia, and I coached in Florida, and I was working out players there. I got better and better at it. So once they emailed me, I'm like, man, this really what I'm doing on my own. They just want me to do it in China. So I'm like, I might as well. I plan on staying there for like a week or two. I signed a year contract, but I'm like, man, I ain't gonna stay out there for no year. I'm gonna take this free plane ticket, go out there, take some pictures, see China, and I'm gonna come home. I ended up staying for 8 months, and it was dope. It just was. It wasn't real basketball. It was more of a daycare. It was like I'm teaching kids 3 years old how to play basketball. You know, they ain't got the attention span from that. So I got my class from 3 to like 13. And so most of the kids, Chinese people more care about education. So most of the time they doing some physical activities just to sweat, just to work out. It's not really serious. But while I was out there, I ended up venturing out and going to some colleges and working some people out. Because once you black in China, it's so much stuff you could do that people will pay you for just because you black. They'll just see you walking down the street like, hey, you coach basketball? And you, even if you don't, you can say, yeah, and they'll pay you for one-on-one. They'll pay you to teach English and everything. So I ended up venturing out, teaching some college kids how to work out and teaching them some moves and stuff. They love playing one-on-one. They want to test their skills against each other. I have fun busting them up too.
Basketball is like a very, very, very popular sport in China. Like I heard it's like number one almost. Like
I think ping pong number one. I think they like ping pong players. It's so serious. Like ping pong is everywhere, but basketball is definitely up there. Especially I wasn't in a major city. I was in a small developing city. Like it was so small that everywhere I went, like it was probably some people first time seeing a black person. So it was a city like that. But they definitely they love it. I wish I could have got to where I coached in like Shanghai or something, like with the bigger cities where they really took it serious. Cause that's why I ended up leaving, because I'm like, man, this is a daycare. This ain't basketball. I tried to make it. I ended up creating my own tier elite class with all the kids that was serious about basketball. So like they'll come on a certain day at a certain time, and I can get my basketball fixed with them because they really want to learn some stuff other than like the kids that just there for exercise. So I ended up finessing them out of there and a little bit more money, but it came down to more money because when I got there, the class was like 30 people. I was there for 8 months. We had like over 300-400 people. So I'm like, man, I'm growing this thing. They coming for me. So I'm like, we need to change this contract. I think I done outworked the contract. We need to talk about some more money. Like y'all getting more money with these kids that's coming because of me. They didn't want to do it, so I ended up dipping.
What would you say as far as like to, graduating seniors, whatever have you in college that really want to pursue that dream? What experiences did you take away being in another country? What advice would you give somebody who wants to play professionally? Because I think a lot of times that a lot of people don't really say exactly what is going on. I know it's a lot of it's issues as far as getting paid and where you have to stay and things like that. What kind of advice would you give?
Man, it's hard. It's hard. Like you gotta have a decent resume too. Like, or I got lucky. I don't think my resume was that good, but my thing after I graduated, I emails like 1,000 coaches and overseas teams every day. Like I do 500 in the morning, 500 at night. If you don't have a good resume, it's hard. Like, and if you didn't go to a Division I school, it's even harder. Cause most of the just like me when I was in high school, only thing you know is what you see on TV. So all them overseas teams not seeing no NAIA and no D2 on TV, so they don't know. They're like, dang, what school is that? It's hard. But if I can go back, I would have learned more languages while I was in middle school, high school, tried to like learn some different languages. I would have tried to get some better film. I would have worked harder so I can go to a higher level so it can be easier. And most kids think they get rich off playing overseas. Like you're not gonna get rich unless you playing like the Euro League or something, and or unless you played in the NBA and you play in the highest league in China. But I know D1 players that came out of college and made $1,500 a month. And kids don't be knowing it. They just think you can just get rich off the bat from playing out overseas. It's not like that. Like I remember I was watching a $2 million tournament. And Cal Fogg, that played at Arizona, his first job overseas, he was making $1,500 a month. Now he progressed and went up after that, but from Arizona, University of Arizona, a known Division I program. But I had a kid that hit me up from an NAIA school talking about leaving before his senior year to go overseas. I was like, bro, don't do that from NAIA school. Like, bro, you go, that's not gonna work. But I just think I wish I could just go around just educating them on this stuff because it's I didn't know it either. I'm just thinking like I'm a hoop, it's gonna work out. Like, nah, you really gotta network and put yourself out there and be willing to. I took some losses, went to some camps, paid my own money. I really wish I could talk to kids about this because it's a hard process.
I think there's a market for your experience and your level of expertise with basketball, not just your experience. I feel like as far as graduating seniors for all these NAIA, D2, D3 kids, I feel like a lot of times there's nobody there to talk to them about that kind of experience. Like it's not easy. It's not a cakewalk. I've got plenty of friends that play overseas, and it's not always a great experience. You're away from family. You're in a different country that you
might not get paid.
It might not get paid. It's a huge one. It's the number one thing. Like you might not get paid. So like I feel like for you with your experience, I feel like there's a market for you to like go out and speak to some of these kids that are pursuing this dream, and not to deter them and say you shouldn't do this, but just a warning, just like any other person would do that has had an experience. So.
Oh, for sure. So I know that you said, that you've been coaching that you coached at different levels. So what, from you playing professionally and, you know, from all your experience, how do you think that has built you up to this day as being a better coach?
I think
A growing coach too, a growing young coach at that.
I think I'm built for anything.
Mm-hmm.
My first job in Georgia, they gave me housing with a mattress on the floor. It had roaches. I started off as the assistant for like $500 a month, but I wanted to coach and I didn't want to. I wanted to leave Arkansas. So when I came back from Morocco, the coach emailed me. It was in Georgia, a smaller town like I'm in now, a smaller town in Georgia. He was like, "I'll give you $500 to be assistant." I'm like, bet, because I know me, like I can finesse anything. So I'm like, if I'm making 500 from you, I know I can do some other stuff outside to get some more money. So like 2 games into the season, the head coach quit. So they moved me to head coach. So from that, like my second one was even crazier than that. I just feel like my coaching experience and my playing experience has built me. I'm built for any situation. Like there's really nothing you can throw at me now that I'm not ready for. Like after I left that school, we had played a team, beat them by like 20. And the coach offered me a job that summer. He called me. He's like, "Hey, I want to offer you a job in my school in Jacksonville, Florida." I'm like, "I'm straight. I already got a job in Georgia now because I'm already got my hands on a lot of stuff and I'm making way more money than I started out with." So he was like, "You ain't got no job. Your the athletic director at your school just gave me all y'all players and said y'all school closed down." I was like, "What?" He didn't even tell me, but he told this man and sent all our players to Jacksonville. So I'm finding out I don't have no job from him. So I'm like, "Well, shit, yeah, bet I'll fuck with you. I'm gonna come work there." So this is my first time making a schedule. I'm excited. I done made a schedule. I got Mount Verde on the schedule, IMG. I'm like, cause one of my players got hurt the year before. He averaged like 27 points a game. I'm sending his film out to everybody. They talking about we ain't playing no competition. So I'm like, all right, this year I'm gonna make sure I schedule some real good teams so that I will never have to hear we ain't play competition. So I schedule all these games. We about to go play IMG. The athletic director tell me I can't play away games. I'm like, what? I said, bro, I showed you the schedule like 2 months ago. He's like, I know, but you can only play home games. Like, no, come it. Fuck it. I'm just gonna deal with it. I just feel like everything I've ever been through in coaching and playing, I'm built for anything, like any situation. Like, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I had 8 players on that team, and I had 2 high school players because he wasn't putting them in the game. So I let them play on my post-grad team. But 5 of those players went to college.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like whatever you throw at me, I'm going to deal with it because I done been through a lot of stuff.
True.
That's dope. So I mean that's really cool to hear from the prep school experience because one of my little brothers he went to a prep school in North Carolina, and you know he said the experience of it was amazing from the aspect of kids his age. They all have the same dream. And he said, now the other stuff, he said, man.
It could be a whole Netflix series, what goes on at prep school.
Man, like, you know, and I'm not going to say any names or the prep school because I might have another kid and it might help. So I'm not going to throw I'm not going to bash anything. But, you know, like, I remember him telling me one day, and then he never was part of it, but he said, you know, one day the boys were mad because they weren't getting offers, right? Which little kids, still kids, you know, they're 18, 19 years old, they 17, 18, 19, they don't understand how that works. You know, they're probably, that offer's going to come if a person signs, if they're waiting, or if we're going to see if you're really about it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you get an offer, that mug don't even really mean nothing. But so they had made a revolt and they did not go to practice. So people sat in bed. Now my little brother and another guy went. He's like, bro, my life ain't their life. It's because like one of his teammates is an NBA player's son, a former NBA player's son. So I told him, look, you can do whatever you want. He can do whatever because at the end of the day, someone's still gonna look at him. And guess what? That coach is not going badmouth about that player because he probably wants other NBA sons, former NBA sons, to come to school. So he's not going badmouth them. I was like, this is your journey though. So that prep school and an actual, you know, I don't want to say it's not an actual high school, but actual high school experience. He said, like, man, it's totally night and day. But he said I had 8 hours in the gym every day.
some prep schools are money grabs though. Some prep schools do it the right way.
sure.
Some prep schools are straight money grabs. Like you got some prep schools where kids not eating, and you got like my prep school. I probably had like 3 Americans. The rest of them was international players. You can't bring these players from another country and not feed them. They paying to play basketball, be housed, and be fed. Like it's some wild stuff that go on in prep schools if it's a money grab. But I didn't know that when I first entered because I had never heard of a prep school. So when I got into it, I'm seeing how it's going. I'm like, whoa, this crap. But I just kept my players in the gym. I had nothing to do with the bad stuff that was going on. They knew I didn't have nothing to do with it, so I just kept them in the gym and just to keep them doing something.
Yeah. So with you coaching now, because now you're at an actual high school, like a 9th through 12th, right? Public school. How do you like that experience so far?
Man, coming from a prep school is different. It's so many rules. It's like handcuffs. Like I really want to get my players out and like you can't practice long. It's like it's so. I broke a rule probably every week this year, but I didn't know that. I'm like, man, well, like, but Kansas got so many rules. Like y'all in Kansas City, right?
Yeah.
So Kansas, y'all Kansas City, Missouri.
Yep.
Yeah, so Kansas got some weird. They like you can't clap loud when the other team got the ball. It's some wild stuff. So it really I think it helped me grow though, because like every place I've been in been totally different where I had to like either I'm gonna have to grow or I'm gonna go be miserable. So it helped me grow. I had to talk to my players different because I never had an all white team. It was certain stuff I couldn't say to them. And I said something one time. They told the parents I had to have a meeting about. So I think I done coached 3 different ways. This is my 3rd year. I done coached 3 different ways with 3 different teams because I had to. So I think it helped me grow a lot being at this little school.
That's dope. We have 2 more questions and then we're gonna wrap it up. One of the questions I always ask, what's the model that you live by? Like, what's the model that you live by?
You got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. That's the thing I always like. I feel like once I get comfortable, I can't grow. Like I have to be like, because when stuff going good and you like, this is going good, everything coming to you, you like it's too easy. I gotta be uncomfortable so I can like get better. So I think me getting thrown into the head coaching job like I did, it made me the coach I am today. Because I didn't know, I had never did a practice plan. I had never did game plan. I had never did none of that. But for me being uncomfortable, it forced me to do it. And like I did it. Just like I'm horrible with directions. But if I have somebody with me, I'm not going to even try. I'm just going to let them direct me to where I'm going. But when I was in China, I was by myself. So I was so uncomfortable. I had to remember how to get home. So that's why I'm saying, if you're uncomfortable, you're going to do it. Like it's going to come to you. But if you're comfortable, like, oh, he know where we going, I'm just going to follow him. It's going to be easy for you. But I'm literally in Thailand, Malaysia, China. I'm walking 2-3 hours from my hotel with no problem. And I know how to get home because I'm uncomfortable. I'm like, either I'm going to get home or I'm going to be stuck.
Yeah.
And so I just –
sink or swim.
That's what I love that saying, sink or swim. Like, what if when stuff get bad, what you going to do? You going to complain about it or you going to figure it out? That's why you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
And then the last one, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like what would be your dream? Like, if everything worked out 100% the way that you want it to work out, 5 years, where do you see yourself?
Man, I thought about this a lot. Somebody just asked me this question last week. When I first started coaching, the only thing I wanted to do was coach Division I. That's the only thing I wanted to do when I started coaching. I want to grind out these $500 a month years so I can get to Division I money. But now since I've been coaching, I'm like, man, I don't even know if I want to coach college. So now that I'm 30, I had a lot of before I'm 30 goals. So I reached all those. So now I'm like, what I want to do now? And I really don't know what I want to do for the next 5 years. I really want to just whatever comes to me. Like literally the job in Georgia, just email me. Just say, hey, you want to work? And that's how it came to me. And I told you how the job in Florida came. They just called me. That's how the job in China came. They just emailed me. That's how this job came. They just emailed me, hey, we got a job out here. So I'm just really just going with whatever God has for me through basketball, I'm willing to accept. I don't really have no 5-year plan. That 5-year plan was wasted like 3 years ago when I that college stuff not for me. Now I thought it was. I thought I wanted to do it, but now that I see how it is and how grimy and shady it is, and I don't even think I want to coach college no more. So I'm just going whatever God got for me. I'm ready for it.
I appreciate you, man.
I hear that.
Well, you know, hey, we most definitely appreciate your time, man. You really had some dope stuff that you said. You know, can you give us your Twitter handles and your Instagram page and all that stuff real quick so you can shout it out?
My Instagram is teampassfirst_2, and I also got I just created my TT Elite Instagram. It's TT that _elite 2, and my Twitter is Coach T_2. If you follow my Twitter, I say whatever I want. So just letting you know, if anybody follow me, I say whatever I want on there.
Hey, man.
I gotta let people know, man. People be taking it personal. Like, man, this just my personal diary.
It's my page. I'm gonna say what I want. It's my page. So yeah. All right, man.
You know.
So thanks for joining us, though, man. Thanks for taking time out of your day to
for having us on here. Oh yeah, my favorite play. I seen it on the list. He's gonna ask my favorite players: Kobe with the fro, Kobe without the fro, and Magic. They're my 3 favorite players.
2 Kobe's and a Magic.
Yeah.
2 Kobe's and the Magic.
Kobe the GOAT.
Laker fan we got here.
Kobe and Magic.
Yeah, I grew up with Kobe. Derek Fisher from Little Rock, where I'm from, so that's when I started watching.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Forgot he was from there.
Hey, well, hey, no one can ever be mad at you choosing a local dude like that. No one can ever.
Anybody say they're a Derek Fisher fan, they probably lying unless they're from Arkansas.
Facts. Well, we about to head out. Coach T, man, appreciate you 100, dog.
Appreciate y'all having me on here.
Hey, we're the bench starters, and we're out.